Yo, this is Joel Davis,
And I'm Gracie Davis,
and this is Greater Than Real Estate.
where we go deep to find out who you really are beyond real estate.
So we want to give a huge shout out to our newest guest, Lakenya Rose. We are so excited to have you on here. I know I think it was last year, we were actually talking about you starting up your podcast, and it's Queendom Talks, correct?
That's right.
Yeah, so go check that out for sure. She's got
Please.
amazing stuff. But we were kind of talking through that, and you actually encouraged me and kind of challenged me to do a podcast. And then lo and behold, I figure out Gracie wants to do a podcast, and
Wow.
and here we are.
Just all in alignment. Ooh,
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason.
No, for sure. So you're one of my most favorite people because every time we talk on the phone, you are always so bubbly, happy. I caught you on one off day, but that was a legit reason.
Yes.
Your
Joyful.
grandma had just passed, but you were one of the first people that I wanted to throw on this podcast because of just everything that you bring.
That means a lot. I appreciate it. You always tell me that. You're always like, hey, I like talking to you. I like talking to you. You know, we all talk about business, but then
Yeah.
wherever the conversation goes, we kind of end up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the one thing that I've seen in this business recently is when you are talking to so many people a day, there's always people that are going to be taking energy from you, and then you're going to find those people that are putting energy back into you.
right.
And I really enjoy talking to you because
good.
I've talked to a lot of people that
She's an energy giver.
Yes,
Not a taker.
yeah, and not
Ooh,
a
I like that.
energy sucker for sure.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
I
had
like
some
that.
people that suck when you
Trust me.
and you're just like, I don't want to talk, and they're like, okay, I'm calling Lakenya, and then I'm excited because
Yeah,
of
well,
that.
good.
Kenya's gonna be
good.
great.
I like that. I try to put good energy in the universe because you never
Yeah.
know. You know,
Yeah.
it just feels good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It
agreed.
feels good.
So, really, kind of give us the 411 on Lakenya Rose from where you grew up, how you got into real estate. I mean, take it where you want, but we want to know a little bit about like your backstory.
So, how deep do we want to go? No, just kidding. Okay, so I am Lakenya Rose-Barrett. Yes, I did hyphenate my name. My husband, he agreed to that because I already had my business established,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and he understood and he supported that.
Yeah.
I grew up in Arlington. I'm a mother of two. I am married. I have a 3-year-old and a 13-year-old. Now listen, this is my advice to anyone who may be thinking about having kids. Don't do the 10-year age gap.
Yeah.
That is major.
Okay. Why? What? Give
I
me.
have a teenager and
Okay.
then I have a 3-year-old toddler. And so
Yeah.
even like finding family activities that everybody's going to enjoy equally,
Right.
it's kind of
right.
difficult.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're just at two different stages in life. But
Mhm.
I love it. I love being a mom.
Yeah.
Of course, I have the Queendom Talks podcast that
Yes.
you mentioned. I'm a real estate agent. I've been doing real estate. It'll be 18 years in July.
Wow.
All
In
right.
July, 18 years.
That's amazing.
That's nuts.
That's crazy. It doesn't even feel like
Yeah.
Yeah, especially
Like
when
it
you're
doesn't.
having fun.
it. Yeah. The time has just gone by because you get so caught up and the years go by. You're trying to hit each goal and
Yeah.
you look up and time is gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, and let's see, what else do you want to know? Ask
So,
me something.
where'd you go to high school at?
I graduated from Morton High School.
And I don't know what it is, but I just feel like you
Uh-oh.
you
Oh,
you might
no, I
you
know
might
the
have been
story.
a cheerleader, a competitive cheerleader, right? Is that
I
right?
did, I did.
I just felt that when you
did.
walked in.
Years
Wasn't your
and years
sister or
ago.
anything?
Yes. Oh, yeah. She snitched, huh? But yeah, that was years ago. Years ago.
Tell
years
us
ago.
about it. I mean,
This is what I will say. I think people underestimate how competitive and how athletic you have to be to cheer.
Yeah.
People, that's a underrated sport. People don't realize
Yes.
how. So I only did it for about
Right.
a year or so. It was difficult. It's
Yeah.
a lot of
It's
work.
it's a lot different than just cheering for like high school.
It is. It
There's a lot
is.
of
There's a lot of
tumbling and
competition. You have to be
Yeah.
able to tumble.
Yeah.
You have. They're like aggressive, like
Yeah.
dance moms, and they're
Yeah.
just like, yeah. So yeah. So-
Was your mom a dance mom?
No, my mom is
Hardcore?
my mom's just laid back. She's completely opposite. She's just very
Yeah.
quiet. She's very meek.
Yeah.
Very humble. Yeah, but
Yeah.
she
Love
just kind of
that.
let us. She just supported us in whatever we wanted to do. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
honest. I was the naysayers of cheers. Not
Really?
A sport. Forgive me. Forgive me.
Okay.
I saw the Netflix documentary of cheer, and I was like,
Yeah.
dang,
Yeah.
that's.
It's intense.
I definitely couldn't have done it. My body would have been broken into millions of
intense.
pieces.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did it, but
Yeah, it's
I mean,
intense.
I am a firm believer now that cheer is a sport.
It is.
Get mad
It
at me if you don't believe it. Go watch the documentary.
It is. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did do that.
Very
Basketball
cool.
is my favorite sport.
Okay.
I do
Nice.
like basketball.
Yeah.
and
Do you have a favorite team?
I'm gonna always cheer for the home team.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Now, not necessarily that they're my favorite team, but I'm just gonna
Yeah.
always cheer for the home team.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a favorite player. You know, I like players
Okay.
versus teams.
So
Yeah.
growing up, who was your favorite player that you kind of, I don't know, emulated your
Oh.
game around?
I didn't. I mean, no one. I just like basketball. Like growing up, it was just like, oh, basketball, it's fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I hit a certain age, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no, I'm not gonna be playing basketball. I might break a nail. You
Yeah.
know, so it kind of went from that. But I still like the sport. I still
Yeah.
like the sport. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what'd you do for college? If you didn't go to college, what
Mhm.
job did you do, and what led you to real estate? Because I don't feel like people grow up wanting to be a real estate agent.
So I did initially. I went to Tarrant County Community College,
Okay.
and I worked.
Yeah.
Then 9/11 happened, and I
Mm.
stopped, and I took some time off. It was very traumatic. I was on my way to school, and it just like people don't talk about like where you were at that moment. And so that I was
Wow.
actually on my way to class, and I went to class, and it was just like really quiet. And one of the girls, her dad was on a flight, and she
Whoa.
couldn't find him, and she couldn't talk to him. So I don't know. That really kind of. I had to take a break.
Yeah.
And then I went to Texas A&M Commerce.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, but the way that I even got into real estate was I was looking for my house, a first house. I was 24,
Mm.
about 24, looking for a home.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. I enjoyed my real estate agent. I'm like, I like this. And
Yeah.
at the time, I was a underwriter for a life and health insurance company.
Oh, okay.
So, but I enjoyed it. Her
Yeah.
name was Roxanne Lynn. I remember her like she was.
Aw.
I've reached out to her over the years, but yeah, and I enjoyed it. So I was like, hey, what does it take?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And crazy, let me tell you, the reason I got my license was because of my husband. Dante
Really?
and I were just friends at the
Yeah.
time. He was my best friend. I always tell
Yeah.
that part.
Be-
He was
isn't
my-
that right,
he
Kendra?
was
Best
my
friend,
best
right?
friend.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
No, really, he
Sure.
was
All
my
right.
best
Yeah.
friend.
We,
Whatever. And so we used to talk. He's like, hey, go for it. And I was like, I don't know. He's like, hey, go for it.
Yeah.
And he supported me in that. And I ended up going to get my real estate license.
that is
Yeah.
awesome.
That's crazy, huh?
Okay.
That's
And
crazy.
so you dove headfirst, stopped underwriting, went straight into
The
real estate.
first year,
Yeah.
I did it part-time.
Okay.
I did it part-time the first year. And then that second year, I quit my job and went in full-fledged.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
That
so
was a
Awesome.
scary
so this like
thing.
04, 05.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it was probably around 06.
Okay.
06. Yeah. 06. Yeah.
All right. So I
Yeah.
think you know where my next question is going to go with
What?
this. So
What?
06
Yeah.
happened,
Yeah.
or not 06 didn't happen, but leading into 08,
Yeah. The
I-
crash.
Yeah.
I know personally
Mhm.
I was, I'm not going to say how old I was at that time, but I was still, I think, in elementary school or junior high or whatever. And
Really?
yeah.
Anyways, go
You're
ahead.
still 29. It's
Yeah,
okay.
Thank you, and holding. Go ahead.
But, I think my parents did a really good job of kind of sheltering me from what really was happening in the economy at that
Mhm.
time. And also, I'm in junior high. I'm not thinking about
Yeah.
what's going on in the economy. But I know in 2008, watching movies and talking to people, just so many lives were affected by that.
Yeah.
And I just, for you living inside of it at that time, what was going through your mind? Is there any like key moments in there that you could kind of hit on?
So this is what I will say. It was a blessing, and at curse that I was so new. Like
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah.
anything else. So
Right.
I'm just getting in the business. So I'm thinking this is just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this what I should do? So other agents are trying to navigate their businesses and they're sharing, hey, this is what you do in this kind of market. You know, this is
Yeah.
how we need to take a pivot and work this market. But
Yeah.
you got to keep in mind, I'm new. So what
Yeah.
they're saying is a pivot. I'm thinking this is just the way that you do business.
Yeah.
So that was really a blessing that I was so new
Yeah.
Yeah.
that I didn't know what it was like prior.
Okay.
So I had nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was able to just navigate it because it was just my normal. So now when we go through these little ebbs and flows, I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, it's just the market changing.
Yeah.
I got in the market when it was really bad. So
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
know that there's going to come a change every 7 years or so. Get
Mhm.
ready because there will be a change in the market.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
crazy.
sure that's helped you a lot with the way things are going right around now.
You know, I think more than anything, it helped you with mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have
Right.
to be able to navigate and pivot. You have to be able to pivot
Right.
and just stay positive.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to change. Just hold on a little longer. It may get a little difficult, but just hold on. It's going to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that might have kind of parlayed into my next question, but say there's a real estate agent getting in the business right now, what would be the one thing that you would encourage them on or help them on when it comes to this?
So if there's a new agent, I'm going to always say mindset, mindset, mindset.
Mhm.
Who are you surrounding yourself with?
Yeah.
What are you taking in? Don't get caught up in the news because they're going to make it sound far worse than what it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Know your market. What is your market doing?
Yeah.
If you service Dallas and Fort Worth, find out what that market is doing.
Mm.
Because when you're watching the news, they may be speaking from a national perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But what is your market doing? How is your
Yeah.
market being impacted? Is there a certain subdivision that you service? How is that particular subdivision doing? So just kind of know your niche, know
Yeah.
your market, and mindset, mindset, mindset. There's always, even in the worst time, I'm sure you can think about how God blessed you.
Yeah.
So there's always a blessing in it. You always have to find the positive in
Yeah.
every situation. So no matter what that looks like, you just kind of find the positive. And there's going to be somebody that's attracted to that positive that's
Yeah.
going to support your business.
Mm-hmm.
100%. I know in our community group, one thing we really talk about big is not why is this happening, but what is God trying to teach me through this? And I think it's always easy to be negative. I think that's our body's initial response to a lot of things if things go bad. So have you ever been like that, or have you always been so positive, or is there like a key moment that you can remember that kind of flipped that switch for you?
So I have to give a lot of credit to my parents.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They are just positive people. Like
Yeah.
my dad was like a genuine happy person that you say like it's a light. You know
Yeah.
how you met someone, he's like, gosh, they have such a light around them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That was my dad. Like he'll walk in the room and light the room up. So when you live in that energy and when people are constantly feeding you positive, you kind of put that out. That's just kind of
Yeah.
all I've known is
Yeah.
just to be positive. Of course, you know, you interact on a day-to-day with people that may not have your same perspective or view, but you just kind of, your mind just kind of flips it.
Yeah.
I mean, life gets hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not saying I don't have difficult times and it doesn't have time where I have to go and like, okay, let me take a time out because I need to get myself together because I don't think my energy is right or I don't think I'm looking at this right.
Yeah.
But you have to be intentional about it. And so I think it was just kind of like my parents, the environment that I was raised in, and then just being intentional about what am I feeding myself and what energy am I putting out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. You mentioned Roxanne Lee, who helped you get into the
Roxanne Lynn.
business,
Uh-huh.
and then your parents helping you with perspective. So when it comes to like mentorship or the person or people who really got you to where you are today, who made like the biggest impact on you?
So with mentorship, I think like your business, it goes through ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
It changes like your relationships. So there's been several people who have impacted or, you know, kind of mentored me over the years.
Yeah.
Do you all know Dennis Total?
Yeah. Yeah. Dennis. Yeah.
He's the reason why I went back to KW.
Really?
Yeah.
And if you know anything about Dennis, I'm a character person. Like I
Yeah.
I admire your business. I like your business and I appreciate your business. but
Yeah.
I am a character person.
Right.
If you know Dennis Total, you know he is a character. He has good morals.
Yes.
He's just,
Yeah.
like a man of God. You know how they say, oh, that's a man of God. He
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
good character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who he is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so everybody that has mentored me over the years or that I've looked up to,
Mm-hmm.
I looked at their character and then their business. The character has come first. So
Yeah.
there's been Dennis Total. There's been Starling Oliver. I don't
Yeah.
know. Do you all know her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Star-
She actually helped us get our first home.
Yes.
Really?
She did.
That was
Yes.
your agent? That was
Yes.
your realtor? See?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you know the kind of people that I look up to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Aw.
just mentioning those two names, I don't know if you all are familiar with Tierney Jordan.
Yeah. Yep. She's real big with EXP. Or is it
Yeah,
EXP
it's
or real?
EXP.
Yeah. EXP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually left Keller Williams and went to EXP with her when she
Yeah.
went over there.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of see the people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, your business is great, but who are you in your heart? What kind of character? What kind of
Right.
energy do you put out? What are
Yeah.
you putting out?
Yeah.
So it's several people throughout my business that I've been able to look up to and mentor.
Yeah.
Call mentors over the business.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great. So with that, I mean, you have mentors and then you have other avenues to, self-improve on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any good books that you've read over your
Oh, gosh.
any that you could say that like really impacted you in your business or maybe just on yourself?
Yeah.
So, Deepak Chopra.
Haven't
You've
heard-
never heard of Deepak?
No. Okay.
Ooh,
think
so
so.
Deepak, look up Deepak.
Okay.
Okay.
His mindset,
Okay.
Yeah.
like manifestation,
Yeah.
what you feed yourself.
Mm-hmm.
He's really big into those things.
Yeah.
And I think I would start there. Of course, there's always Gary Keller's books.
Yep.
Anything Gary Keller's wrote,
Mhm.
always the one thing, the MREA, $1 Million Real Estate Agent.
Yeah.
All of those books are great, but I'm into self-improvement, self-work, because if you have yourself and everything else kind of follows once you get your spirit in alignment.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your business kind of follows where your heart is.
Yeah.
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 That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
what do you
would-
think about?
Do
What do
you
you
have a
think?
book-
Oh, do I have it?
you
I
have a
mean,
book you want to share?
I mean, we could always throw about the David Goggins Can't Hurt Me book. I mean, if you
I've
talk
never read
about I'll have to give it to you after
Okay.
this. But so David Goggins, he's kind of viral right now. But just, I think the one thing that I learned about him, which I kind of already knew, just like in general, it doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter your race, your color, your gender, your age, or anything that your background, if you had
Socioeconomic
great parents,
status.
bad parents, like you can decide, like it is a choice to overcome any obstacle that comes in front of you. And just, I mean, this guy's running 100-mile races. He's taping his shins because he's got shin splints in the Marines. Well, no, sorry, Navy SEALs. Forgive me. He'll probably yell at me if he hears that. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
he was Navy SEAL.
Navy SEALs.
After trying 3 different times.
I mean, the amount of
Multiple
things that he
injuries,
did
just-
and just most of it, I mean, he'll talk about is just overcoming his mind, like knowing like, okay, here's the breaking point and like pushing through it. I mean, the book was just unreal. It almost kind of makes you think like, oh yeah, he's not human, but
Yeah.
we are. Like we all could do that.
Mm-hmm.
But are we willing to put our body and our mind through that and follow through with it? I mean, mindset book, I don't know if you can find a better one
Really?
than that right now.
Really?
I mean, and he's actually coming to Dallas, I think in February for Aspire. I think it's called Aspire.
Yeah, the Aspire conference.
Yeah, the Aspire conference. So
Are
I
you
mean,
gonna go?
I think we were talking about it, but man, it's just he is unreal.
Really?
Yeah. That's one that I would say for sure.
His story sounds familiar. Sounds like something Dante and I have talked about.
Really?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Dante told me about him. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look into it and see.
Oh my gosh. It's
It was good.
he's a little bit in your face. So
Yeah.
if you're not used to that,
Some of the language is a little bit hard for me to listen
little
to.
out there,
Okay.
but
yeah, overall the story is just very impactful,
yeah.
and it makes you change your mindset a lot about what you can achieve and just what really you can go through, your body can go through with a mind that is just like pushing through all that. So
Yeah. I mean, he set up the pull-up record one year. I think he did like
just because he wanted a new challenge.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah.
I think
He's just one of those people who's always seeking the next like challenge or the next way to like improve
Wow.
his mind and his body. So it's pretty cool.
yeah.
Good.
You got any books, Gracie?
You know, I'm not much of a reader. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. That's
Yeah.
actually how I
Yeah.
listened to that Can't Hurt Me book. Joel and I would listen to it over podcast. But I mean, really, the only book I'm set on reading every day is my Bible.
Well,
and
you can't go wrong with that, Gracie. You
can't.
can bring that one in every time, and
Yes.
it talks about mindset.
It
So,
does.
yeah.
It does. So, but I definitely want to get more into reading. That's one of my goals for this year is to read 6 books, which for some people that seems
No.
funny
Yeah.
and hysterical because I know people who read a book every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But since I'm not a reader, I do want to kind of focus on doing that because I do enjoy reading, but I'm more of like a listener type person. So I'll probably do more podcasts or audiobooks.
Yeah.
But
I think some of the things too, you know, we have mentors and then we have books that we read, but, you know, really learning stuff is like on the job details. You know, you hear some degrees like a construction degree. Yeah, you're going to learn all this stuff in a class, but until you're actually thrown into the fire, are you actually going to know what it is?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned over your career?
Wow, there's so many. Gosh.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, that's okay. I think one of the biggest lessons, just being in this industry, I've learned is controlling your emotions.
yeah.
A real estate transaction is very emotional, whether
Yep.
it's for the buyer or the seller.
Yeah.
There's a lot of emotions involved.
Yeah.
But what you will find is sometimes the agent working across from you, they're super emotional too.
Speak
Then
on
you
that.
have people in title and inspector. There's so many other parties,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and there's so many emotions. So when you learn to control your emotions and stay the calm,
Yeah.
you have to be the peace.
Right.
Be the one to kind of, hey, it's okay. We'll get to the finish line. Let's
Yeah.
keep the goal the goal.
Yeah.
I understand you're feeling like this, but let's see if we can find a solution. Like, so I think being able to control your emotions has been the biggest lesson. Like, just
Yeah.
because someone starts at a 10, that doesn't mean you go at a 10. You kind of stay at a 5. You know, you take it all in. Just
Right,
controlling my
right.
emotions. I think that's the biggest lesson that you can learn in this.
Yeah.
If you can do that, you'll be a great agent. Because
Yeah.
a lot's going to be thrown at you, whether that's from bad inspection report or whether that's from the other agent and they may not want to negotiate terms or they're maybe being unreasonable about something. And
Yeah.
hey, there's the lender that you're having a loan. Listen, some things are just out of your hands, but guess what? You're the face. You're the person that
Yeah.
that person knows. You're,
Right.
you know, you're supposed to have the solution and answer. So just
Right.
being calm and controlling your
Yeah.
emotions is the biggest lesson.
All right.
Yeah.
So let me give you a hot take right here.
Okay.
So is it the buyers or sellers that are the emotional ones, or is it the realtors that make the contracts and the process more emotional?
Every transaction is different.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sometimes it's the agent.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the realtor. You have to remember, like, we're in sales, and some agents haven't gotten commissions in months, or some of them need that commission to pay their bills or tuitions, or
Yeah.
and maybe or some of them are working multiple transactions and they don't have the support system in place to support them, so they're just tense. They're high with emotion because they have so much coming at them. But
Right.
you do have sellers. Of course, they're attached to their home, so
Yep.
they have emotions there. They've seen their kids grow up.
Yeah.
They've created
Yeah.
great memories, and so they think
Yeah.
their home is worth a lot more because there's emotional value there.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have buyers, and a lot of my clients are first-time home buyers,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and so they're emotional, they're nervous, and they don't know what to expect. So you're giving them this number that, like, this is a huge amount, you know. This is my first home, and they want everything perfect. They want everything right. So there's a lot of emotions no matter who
Yeah.
it is. But
Yeah.
every transaction is different.
Yeah.
Every transaction is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that being said, are there any specific client transactions or that were either really great, really bad, really memorable for what would you say is your most memorable?
You've got to have one
transaction.
over all those years.
Oh my gosh.
or multiple.
I think the one that sticks out in my head the most,
You gonna name drop?
I'm not going to name drop, was I was representing some first-time home buyers,
Okay.
new to Texas,
Yeah.
and it was probably a few years ago. This was probably, I can't remember. And it was right at the point to where there was a new law changing. Something changed. A new rule came into place.
Yeah.
Now the sellers, the husband was in the mortgage industry.
Oh.
And so the law was changing. We had to push close date back. Keep in mind, I'm representing the buyers. I'm
Yeah.
the buyer's agent.
Yeah.
He bypassed his agent and calls me directly.
No, by the way, that's a big no.
He
Don't
calls
ever
me
do that.
directly. I'm like, hey, you probably need to talk to your agent. He's at a 10.
Oh gosh.
And me staying calm only infuriated him more. He became even more upset because I was kind of like, hey, you need to talk to your agent. You know,
Yeah.
I really can't talk to you. And by me staying so calm, it just made him angry.
Elevated it
It
even
did.
more.
It did. He was so mad.
Just
And
not having that.
I couldn't change it. The
Yeah.
law was the law. We had to push the
Right.
close date back.
Yeah.
There was nothing we could do about it. He went out and put a bad review about me as if I was his agent. And
Are
so
you
that is the
kidding me?
craziest thing. I'm like, sir, I didn't even represent you. I simply told you
Wow.
you were going to have to speak to your agent. And he wrote a bad review about me.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Is he still in the mortgage industry?
I don't
I hope
know.
not.
Let's hope not.
I just let it go. You know, I'm like, the nerve, but hey, I know who I am. My clients went back, and his agent was like, I'm so sorry. I'll go write a good review. You know, I'll let them know. But
That's
Yeah.
tough.
yeah, it is.
That's frustrating.
Sounds like y'all got to the end though.
We
and clo-
did. We
Crazy,
closed. It was
crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
how it worked out.
crazy.
It's cra-
Exactly.
It's crazy you would see somebody in the industry because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're a little bit more understanding on deals and stuff like that, but somebody in the industry doing that and bypassing that's wild.
Yeah.
Because they know the rules.
Yeah.
And
that makes it
again,
even more.
emotional.
Yeah.
It was his house, so he had too many emotions attached to it. So
Yeah.
hey.
That's crazy. All right. Have you ever been to a 10?
Have I ever been to a 10?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I can get to a 10.
You get to a 10
I
real
can
quick.
get to a 10. Yes, I can get to a 10. So yeah. Even during a transaction, like don't do anything to my clients. Don't
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very protective over my clients or
Mhm.
you know, you can disrespect. I'll allow disrespect to a certain level. Like you can
Yeah.
come at me, but then sometimes I can get to a 10 to let you know, hey, there's a stopping point. You know,
Yeah.
we're gonna stop right here because this
Yeah.
can go bad. But yes, I
Yeah.
can get to a 10, Joe. I try not to sometimes.
If I ever saw you on a 10, I'd be scared. I mean, just
Yeah.
always seeing you at just awesome and bubbly. If I saw, I'd be scared. I wouldn't want to be in
Yeah.
that same room.
Yeah, yeah.
The
I'm
good
sure-
thing is you've never made her have to get to a 10 with you. So
I'm gonna
No.
write
keep
that.
up the good work.
I love working with Joe. I love working with Joe. No, I never see that because Joe's great at communicating. I think
Right.
that's why our relationship we work so well because he keeps me in the loop.
Yeah.
Like he's great at his job.
right.
And I think that's one of the key points. Like if there's a new agent, I would say, watch who you partner with. Watch who you do business with. That is the most important thing because you're handing your client off to someone.
Right.
You need that person to have character. You need that person to do
Yeah.
business at a certain level, like the same level that you do business at. Because, of course, they know your face. You're the one that referred them. So, hey,
Yeah.
Joel and I work well together.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He's great.
You're the
He's
best.
great.
So you talked about first-time home buyers. What, say, in this market, there's been I'd say there's pent-up demand, especially from last year with rates being high. First-time home buyers, their biggest thing is, they see rates because we talked about it. The news makes it bigger than it really is, right? So what tips is, say there's a New Year's resolution that people want to buy a home in 2024. What is the couple tips or one tip that you would say to get them on the right track to purchase a home in 2024?
I would say go ahead and talk to your lender ahead of time. If you know that's a goal, your first step is to talk to your realtor and let them connect you with a great lender.
Yeah.
So we can make a game plan for you. We can help you get there, because it's one thing to say, hey, my goal is to purchase a home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you know how much money you need to save? Do you know where your credit scores are? What are you comfortable paying? Like, we put together an entire plan, especially if you have a great lender like Joe. No, and I'm not just saying that. I'm serious. I've seen Joe sit down and talk people through it from beginning to end.
Yeah.
So we can put together a plan. So I would say, if you're serious about purchasing a home, put together a plan. Be reasonable. Don't just make it a wish. You have to put the action behind it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was what I'll tell them.
Yeah. So let's talk about the flip side of the coin. What are the biggest mistakes that first-time home buyers do?
Oh gosh, Joe. So I guess at different points, like if you're first starting out, don't listen to your parents and grandparents.
Please, stop. Hold up real quick. Let's hit on that real quick. I think the biggest one is the inspections, or letting their parents decide what home they should. Please take that home, please.
Yes. So their rates are going to be different, and the homes are different. Everything is different.
Right.
Everything is different. When you're looking for a home, you go shop for that home, preferably by yourself. You're going to be the one that's living in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you let the professionals do their jobs.
Yes.
So that's inspectors, that's your agent, that's your lender. Don't have your dad, because he's handyman, come in and ruin a perfectly good house.
Yes.
But again, as a good agent, you kind of prep your clients before you ever go out. Like, hey, we have 5 major concerns, the big 5 components. If it's not the AC, electrical, heating, plumbing, foundation, or roof, we're going to kind of let those other items go. But that big 5, we're going to be concerned about. But I've seen where a parent will come in and be like, oh, these doorknobs, we need to ask for this amount of money off. Like, hold on, wait a minute.
Oh.
I know you don't like the carpet, but that's something that you can do when you get in. We're not in that market. So the markets are very different from probably when they purchased their first home and when you're purchasing your first home. So let the professionals be the professionals, and with all due respect, let your parents just enjoy and be proud of you for accomplishing such a great goal.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's, I didn't even think about that right there. But man, I've seen countless deals blown up because of parents, siblings talking about a house and being there. Oh, well, this is bad, or this is bad. And it's just like, dog, like, and you talk with them like, dude, they're not even living in that house. Like, this is your choice. You are a grown adult. Granted, I understand people want their parents to approve of their choices, but at some point, you've got to make those decisions for yourself and for your family.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
I agree.
So how has your opinion of success in the industry changed over time?
This is good.
And what do you feel like today? What do you define as success?
That is an amazing question.
She asked the good ones.
That was a really good one, though. That was a really good one. So I think when I first got in, of course, my perspective of success was completely different.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to make 6 figures, or I want to close a certain number of homes.
Yeah.
But at that time, it was just me. I was a single woman. So success looked very different at that point.
Yeah.
Success now, at my age, 29 and holding,
Hey,
with
there we
2
go.
kids and a husband, it looks different to me.
Yeah.
It looks like me being able to take my kids to school and pick them up.
Yeah.
Looks like me being able to participate and be room mom and go to their Christmas parties and their performances at school and being involved and active.
Yeah.
It looks like me being home at a decent hour to cook dinner and have dinner with my family.
Yeah.
But also being able to help families, but not allow my business to run my life.
Yeah.
Say that again. That is big right
so
there.
that's success to me. I think a lot of times people can get caught up in the number of number of transactions.
Yeah.
What was your GCI? How much did you close? How many millions?
Yeah.
And that's great. But what I know to be true is that you can't get time back.
Ooh.
once your kids are grown and out of your home,
Yeah.
they're out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all that time that you missed for like a showing for somebody that probably is not going to refer someone to you or
Right.
you can't get that back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. That commission will never be worth it.
Right.
It will never be, for me,
Yeah.
it will
Right.
never be worth it.
Right.
And what I have known to be true is that God has always allowed me, provided. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
if I'm not chasing the commission.
Mm-hmm.
I value my family much more than I value that commission.
Yeah.
Although I would love to help you get to your home ownership or whatever your real estate goals are,
Yeah.
I also want to be there for my family. So that's what success looks like for me at this point in my career.
That's awesome.
Right.
Well, so that mindset shift of, the Lord's going to provide for me. I don't have to chase that commission. Was that hard to grasp, or was it a lot easier once you had kids? Because I know, especially younger in my career, if I lost a deal because, say, a lender came in right at the end or something like that, you can always be so upset about it. And they say get better, not bitter. But how was that hard for you to grasp, or was that hard to implement into your business?
I'm not saying that it doesn't sting. It
Yeah.
still stings. I've had family members use other agents, and that's like, hey, wait a minute. This is how I pay my bills. This is how I
Yeah.
provide for my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know at the end of the day that I would much rather be at home with my kids than showing someone that will go and switch agents on me or go
Right.
to a new construction and not list me on their home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with that, how do you, over time, you've obviously learned what kind of clients are going to be those clients and what kind of clients that they value your time just as much as you value theirs. So how did you work through that and really learn those types of personalities or those types of clients and valuing?
I think for me, one of the things that I do with every client, I always have a consultation. A meeting of the minds before we ever get started to make sure we're on the same page, to make sure we're going to be a good fit. I might not be the best agent for you. I
Yeah.
might not be. We might not just click. You might not like how I do business. You might not like that I don't take phone calls after 7 because
Yeah.
I'm with my family.
Yeah.
That might be a complete turnoff for you.
Yeah.
And the same way that you're shopping to see if I'm a good fit, I'm shopping to see if you're going to be a good fit for me. Because
Right.
if you can't respect the boundaries that I have set in place,
Yeah.
then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
That's
So
really good.
sometimes you have to be okay with letting,
Yeah.
I remember my grandparents used to always say, all money's not good money. You have to be okay
Yeah.
with letting some deals go. Yeah, it may
Mhm.
sting or whatever, but it's not worth it in the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that process that you had about doing the consults and figuring out if they're a good fit or not, what would you say to a newer agent that is just getting in the business that will take any person that has a pulse? Or how long did it take you to kind of figure that out?
So again, when I was younger and it was just me, I
Mhm.
was running like, hey, let's just go and show houses.
Yeah.
But it took some older established agents saying, hey, don't go show without that pre-approval letter.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I'm like, I know, I've showed this guy 20 homes and he still hasn't purchased. And to come find out, he can't get qualified.
Oh my gosh.
So look,
Yeah.
that's my time that I can't get back. That's
Yeah.
gas. That's my energy. So
Right.
I would just say, have systems in place. Always, always do a consultation. Always make sure they're pre-qualified. Never take a buyer out without them being pre-approved.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. Put together a game plan for them to be able to purchase the home.
Yeah.
You're doing yourself a disservice just like you're doing them because they're getting their emotions involved. They're getting their hopes up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And guess what? They're not going to be able to purchase.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That is rough.
Yeah, it is rough. You
It
see what
is.
gas prices they're still expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to run all over town for somebody that's not going to be able to purchase. It's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
not worth it.
But I love that you value your family, and that's something that as we're, learning that we don't have a
Yeah.
family yet. It's just family
You
of
do
two,
have a
Team
family.
Davis.
Team Davis.
But just something that we're learning is how to respect our family's boundaries and our
Yeah.
time, and not just staying up till all ends of the night because we can, to help people, but really just to decide that we're going to make our marriage and our family a priority, and really setting that expectation before we have kids, because if we don't, then we're going to be those parents that are working till 9 p.m. and don't get to see and spend the quality time with our children that we would want to, hopefully, one day. So,
and I find that more people respect that. When I tell them that up front during our consultation,
Yeah.
oh, okay, no problem.
yeah.
Every now and then I'll get someone that I have to remind, hey, you remember I don't take calls after a certain time.
Yeah.
And I set that boundary. I just remind them the next day when I talk to them, because I'm still not picking up that phone after 7. I just remind them, hey, I did see you called after 7, but I was with my family.
Yeah.
Remember, I don't take calls after
Yeah.
7. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
They respect it once
Right.
you set it up front, once you set those
Right.
expectations.
Because I feel like if you give somebody an inch, they'll take a mile.
That's
They always say, so it's like if you don't set those boundaries and keep reminding people that's kind of where you stand, then they're gonna make calls to you at 10 p.m. and
That's
expect
right.
you to answer. So it's like you really have to work through that, and that's something. Again, as we continue in our careers, we're having to.
Why are you looking at me?
We are having to work on
Why
that.
are you looking at me like
Team
that?
Davis, Team Davis.
And I think it's something that I've been in my business now for about 6 years, and Joel's been how many years?
Like
at this
3 to
point?
4.
So it's just something that at the beginning I was doing
You're
whatever
hungry.
I possibly could,
Yeah.
and now it's like I have a little bit more of that expectation of this is, my family's important, my time is important, my peace of mind is important, to not be thrown into a scary situation at 9 p.m. because I have a client calling me 40 times in a row. So it's just, it's such a good lesson and good thing to know that you've been able to do that, and that's actually benefited your business, not taken away from it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
very
Definitely.
promising.
It's definitely beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're sitting there and you're at your kid's school looking at them do their little whatever they're doing, it may not be great, but it's fun. It's a memory. They're gonna be like, "Oh, my mom was there.
Yeah.
She never missed. She never missed the event."
Right.
And that goes a long way.
It does.
And we talk about generational wealth in real estate.
Yeah.
But that's the real key to making generational wealth.
Mm.
That people undervalue those memories and those moments.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's something that they can pass on to their kids, because I'm setting the standard. Hey, try to be there for those moments. Those moments and that time is valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And then you pass that on from generation to generation. And
Yeah.
Right.
I think kids will remember more the times you missed
that's right.
compared to the times that you were there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's your definition of being rich? Is it being rich monetarily, or is it being rich with family and the things that I think are more valuable to your life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like Joel always says, you don't take your money with you. So
That's right.
what kind of impact can you leave for your family and creating that?
And I think when people talk about legacy, that's where your true legacy lies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's where your true legacy lies. Yeah, you want to leave your family wealth or material things to help them,
Yeah.
but you also want to leave them those core values, those moments and those memories. And
Yeah.
have good character. Put good energy in a room.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's most impactful to the world, to other people. That's how you really touch someone. So, yeah, you can leave your kids millions and millions of dollars, but that's probably only going to benefit them.
Mm.
That's the legacy that's only going to directly benefit them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a true legacy is, what kind of morals did you leave?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of memories did you leave? How are they going to impact the room when they walk in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they going to change the energy? Are they going to change the atmosphere when they walk in? Are they going to give positive energy? And then that touches someone, and then that touches someone, and it goes on. That's true legacy.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
true wealth.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That really is. That's why we love you,
I love
Lakenya,
you too.
because
I love you
you're
too.
awesome.
Yeah.
So in this market, there's thousands of agents, especially in the DFW. Granted, some got out, last year as the market got a little bit tougher. You've been doing this for 18 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Almost.
crazy. You started real estate when you were 11.
It's a miracle. It's a miracle.
But with that being said, you've been super successful for 18 years. What makes you stand out compared to other agents?
Okay. So I want to say something. I haven't been successful all 18 of those years.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we're clear on that. There were some really, really hard years, but God has granted me grace that I've had several great years.
Right.
So, I say, what makes me stand out? Because I feel like I'm a hard person, like a hard space.
Yeah.
And so when you come to me and say, hey, this is my goal, I'm going to try to get you there.
Yeah.
I'm not like, well, how much is this going to be? Ooh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to help you. It's not in my ideal price point.
Yeah.
No, this is a goal. Let's get you there.
Yeah.
So I think what sets me apart because I'm genuine. I really care about my clients. Like, whatever your goal is, let's get there. Let's figure out a way for you to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say that.
And what about this industry? Because you could have chosen to be really great at a lot of things. And you chose to be a real estate agent. What do you think sets apart this industry from other things that you could have chosen to do as a career?
What I would say for me, real estate, for the most part, it always leaves people with a good feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're always going to, whether you're the seller, that was your goal to sell.
Right.
Some people are in situations where they, of course, have to force to sell. But at one point, it felt good because they were able to purchase.
Yeah.
And they were excited about purchasing. So real estate always has that happiness around it. It has that excitement around it. It has a way of impacting not only the person that's sitting across from you, but a real estate transaction touches so many different lives.
Yeah.
You have your inspectors, you have your lenders, you have the appraiser. You have so many people that will profit off of one transaction or that'll be impacted off of one transaction. And it's a positive event.
Yeah.
Whether it was positive at the beginning or positive at the end or both, you're buying and selling. It's something positive.
Right.
So for me, I like that. I like that. And it does open a lot of people up to an avenue of creating wealth.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That they didn't have, that they can't work enough hours to get.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It does allow them that opportunity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
That's really good. Do you have a specific client or transaction that has been your most memorable moment so far, for a positive, not a negative? Because I'm sure there's some negatives.
It's some negatives. Positive. I don't like picking just one because I feel like all of them are special, especially when we're going through. All of them are special. All of them pull on my heart, my heartstrings.
Yeah.
I've worked with single moms and it's been special. I've worked with single dads.
Wow.
Like, I had a client. He lost his wife. And he had 2 daughters, and they moved to Texas.
Oh.
And he was like, my gift for them for Christmas is to give them a home. So that was really, those moments, or it could be, I've had clients that were much older, like she was probably in her late 50s and he's in his 60s. But this was their first time purchasing a home.
Wow.
So those moments are still, there's a lot of them. They're all special. So I can't pick just one. They're all special.
Mm-hmm.
They're all special to me. Yeah. But I can give you a funny moment that I've had.
Oh,
please. Yes.
Drop it on us.
So I was showing a doctor. She's a dentist. She's still a doctor, but she later became my dentist.
Oh.
And she was purchasing a home. So we're in this beautiful home. We're looking. She brought her mom, and we're looking at this home. Nowhere in the showing instructions did it mention a dog. Nowhere in the showing instructions did it mention a dog. So we're looking at this home, and they're loving the house. The house is beautiful. So we get ready to go into the backyard, and we step out, and they have a covered patio. It's from nowhere. Like, everyone steps outside, And from nowhere, a dog comes from around. And it's not like a little chihuahua. It's like a huge dog. So
my
we're
goodness.
all trying to run and get away. We end up locking the dog in the house, and we're stuck in the backyard. We're stuck in the backyard, so we
No.
have to call. I'm like calling people. The neighbors have come over because we're going crazy. Like this is not a small dog. This is a huge
Oh
dog.
my gosh.
Yeah, and
Do you know what breed?
just big, Gracie. Just think
Big.
the largest dog that you can imagine with big, huge teeth and a big head coming at you. I don't know what kind of dog.
Oh my god.
It was a monster,
But it was definitely scary.
it was very scary. Yeah.
Did they get that house?
No, we did not. Once we made it out of the backyard, we just sat there in front of the home like, you okay? I'm okay. And keep in mind, she had her mom there. So her mom's older. Her mom was
She was
She was
moving.
getting it. Like her mom was getting it. Like even when we were getting out, the way that house was laid out, you went to the backyard through the kitchen.
Yeah.
The dog ran in because we ran back in and no one shut the door. So the dog was able to come into the house. We threw one of their kitchen tables down trying to get. It was a mess. I'm telling you, it was a complete disaster.
What did the real estate agent say? The listing agent.
I stayed there until one of the homeowners came, and he was like, "I'm so sorry."
Oh, okay.
I'm so
All right.
yeah. He
Good.
was. That was the craziest moment. That had to be the craziest moment. And you know,
Yeah.
we still talk about it to this day. Like, hey, you remember when?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
She did buy a house
hilarious.
though. She did
She
buy
did.
a-
Just
she
not
did.
that
one.
Just not that one.
Too much PTSD from that.
Yeah, that was not the one.
Couldn't
Oh
walk
my
out on the back
God.
porch and have a sound mind on that.
No, it was bad. The
Wow.
neighbors came out, like the neighbors from. Oh no!
They knew.
Yeah, they knew. They knew.
Dang,
Yeah,
that's
it was
funny.
crazy.
goodness.
It was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, so I think we're coming to the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
But we want to go over really when it comes to your identity and who you are, what you want to be remembered by, what your legacy is. We talked a lot about that during the podcast. What do you want everyone to know about who Lakenya Rose-Barrett is?
I just want to leave knowing that, like, if we share a moment, I want it to be like a heart space moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want people, like, I don't want to look at material things. I wanted a heart space moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why Joel and I bond, and we
Mhm.
enjoy those conversations.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of heart space moments
Yeah.
Yeah.
where, like, hey, outside of business, how are you doing on the inside?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I want to be remembered as one of those people who really genuinely cared on your heart space.
Right.
Like, how are you doing at your core?
Mm-hmm.
How can I help you at your core?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you know how you breathe, like you take a moment
Mm-hmm.
and you just kind of breathe. And, like, it's like a constant communion with God, like having that heart space. Like, you have to have that heart space moment with
Yeah.
people. Like,
Yeah.
that's how I want to be remembered. Like, she had heart space moment with me.
Right.
She allowed me time to break away and pause from whatever's going on to genuinely care and see how I was doing.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I love that. I mean, when I got into this business, it was kind of like, hey, Gracie was like, hey, go try this out. And I was like, all right, cool. But from what I've realized over these couple years is doing business with people that you enjoy talking to and that you can talk on the phone for 30 minutes and it not just be about business. Like just those relationships where it's just strictly business. It's great
Yeah.
that they like that, but man, it's just way, way more than that. Like we talked about it earlier. When you die, like you're not taking this money with you. It's just the relationships that you build from this are just, to me, so much more fulfilling than any dollar amount
That's
I could
right.
ever have.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. I enjoy our heart space moments,
Yeah,
Joe.
I
You
agree.
really I enjoy talking to you like you enjoy talking to me.
Good. I'm glad
Yeah.
it's mutual
Yeah,
because
it
I'm
is.
sure there's some that are
It
like,
is.
bro, shut
But I
up.
have to give credit where credit is due. It's only because of Gracie that we are in
100%.
business together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I met you through Gracie.
Yep.
And it's because Gracie does great business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you stuck
you.
out like over the years. I remember seeing your picture on our vendor wall.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try her.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
I did try, you provided such great service. And
Yes.
even now, if someone's not even going through like necessarily a real estate transaction, they're just complaining about their insurance. Hey, I know someone. You need to
Yeah.
call Gracie. I know like
Yeah.
Gracie's like,
Yeah.
can you? But I'm like, hey, call
No,
Gracie.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate both of you.
Thank
I
you.
do.
We appreciate
I
you
do.
more than you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, other than that, is there anything that you would want to leave the listeners with about Lakenya Rose-Barrett?
No, I think you all got a good idea of who I am.
Yeah.
Good. She's the best. That's who she is.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you.
And she was a
She's-
she was a cheerleader too. Thanks, Kendra.
She's who you want as your agent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She's gonna cheer you on as you
I
go
will.
to the closing table.
I am. I will. I will. Thank you all for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, also, give a little plug on your podcast.
Yes, listen to the Queendom Talks podcast on all platforms. Check us out. And I would also like to plug, I don't know if you all know, I wrote an affirmations journal.
Yes, I did see that. Yeah, talk about that.
Cool.
So I would love
That's
for you all
amazing.
to go out and pick up the affirmations journal.
Yeah.
It's a weekly journal,
Hmm.
Okay.
but it helps you plan, it helps you set goals, but it also affirms who you are.
Love that.
I think
That's great.
it was really important for me to write this journal because we take in a lot of information every day.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
take in a lot from the world telling you who you should be, who you're not,
Right.
what's popular now.
Right.
But sometimes you need to take those times to just affirm who you want to be and who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
That's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
you wrote that, and where can
Yep.
you purchase this?
You can get it from www.thequeendomshop.com.
There we
That's
go.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's great. We also want to give a big shout out to your husband,
Yes.
Dante
Yeah.
Barrett, on the
Tap
Tap In podcast and also the Tap In Studios. If you want to do a podcast
Mm-hmm.
in Texas in the DFW area, get with Dante. He's the best, and he's just as great as Lakenya. So.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have met him if it wasn't for Lakenya. So,
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
right. He is pretty cool, but I don't know just as. No, just kidding. No, he's equally as great as I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for episode 2 with Lakenya Rose-Barrett.
Yay. Thank
Yay.
you.
We'll see you guys next week.
Walk